nice to see you again. Today we're going to learn about think up versus think about. So I'm thinking about an elephant. So don't think about a big elephant. Well, it's kind of hard if we don't think of something, right? So today we're learning about the differences between these two mistaken words. Let's go. So let's just say that when we're walking out of the zoo, we suddenly see the mind just said a big elephant. That's weird, right? It would just cross our minds. It would just come suddenly. We don't know when it will happen at all. We aren't thinking. We're walking and it just popped in our heads. So there's no thing that we need to think about. Like I'm thinking about an elephant. That's called think about. But this is think of. Think of is just like I think of an elephant. That means that I'm suddenly walking, but I suddenly just saw an elephant in my mind. And think of means that I'm thinking it. It doesn't suddenly go to my mind at all. So like I thought of a great idea. So that means that suddenly you don't know anything and then it just crossed your mind. And then it would just pop in and you have a brilliant idea. Or think of me if the position is still open. That means that if you forgot something, maybe you could call me for another spot like that. So it's like when we see that there's no open spots or do anything with it, suddenly someone will cross our minds or something will cross our minds, like ideas or like imaginations, and silly jokes will come to our mind. So that's how we got think about. So if we think about a big elephant, it suddenly cross our mind because I don't think at all. It just comes to my mind and I don't know when it happens and I'm not thinking at all. And what about think about? Think about is think for a long period of time. It's like this math problem is very difficult, so I have to think. I'm thinking about the math problem. That means that this math problem is very difficult and I have to think for a very long time. But if we say think about is like it just crossed our mind so we could say it out loud when we want it. Like a hard math problem last time you saw, and it's only the answers cross your mind, and then you say it out loud. You don't need to think twice at all. But think about it means that a long period, so a long time. We have to think for a few minutes, like 15 or 20 minutes like that. We have to think. That's called think about. So think about ideas like that. So that means that should we replace electric cars with gas cars like that, for example, okay? Maybe in a debate, we have to think about ideas. So I'm using my brain to think about it, not just the ideas just cross my mind at all. So I can't say it out immediately, but I have to wait for a few more minutes before I could say it out. Because think about it means that it comes to someone's mind. And sometimes we talk about an option too. An option is like great ideas, positions in that, for example. But there are a lot of options for you to choose. So I thought of maybe like that. I thought of a great idea to ask the teacher like that, for example. If you want to say think about, that means that we have to think. We have to think about like meditating or just think about a hard math problem or something hard that we can't solve immediately and we can't say it out loud immediately. So think of, let's just say is that first one is it will cross someone's mind. It will cross suddenly. We don't need to think twice or first at all. We'll just go there suddenly and surprisingly at all. But we don't know when it will happen or when it will start. So like I'm talking about that, I say the same ideas over and over again. But suddenly a new idea pops in my mind. So I will say it out loud to you guys so you could hear it. But if I'm thinking about an idea to say to you guys, it will take a very long time and I have to pause the video a little while. You see? Now you know the difference between them. Let's do a little review. The first one is think about. It means that it's coming. It's crossed someone's mind. And we don't need to think twice at all. We just need to, when it goes into our mind, we'll say, aha, I think this one is good. So you just say it out loud immediately without thinking twice or stopping at all. And also, it's asked about an option too. So that's two things you need to know. And the third one is that we could say it immediately without stopping and thinking for a long period of time. So if you think about a long period of time but you use think of, you're wrong. Because if you do that, you have to say, I think about like that. So you have to think first. Sometimes think about is not used in a quick situation, you know? So that would be kind of silly. And we just use think about when we say it really quickly. So sometimes we could prepare the ones so that we could say think of or think about. So now think about first one is that it considers think for a long period of time. Secondly, that we can't say out immediately. Thirdly, is that it's very long. Sometimes we have to think about 5 to 10 minutes, for example, in that. So that we can't say it out immediately, but we have to wait for a few minutes, like 5 or 6 minutes like that of thinking before we say out immediately. We have to use our brain, but think about we don't need to use our brain. It just cross our brain. So we don't know at all. So you understand the differences already? So it was great. So let's do the quiz together. Let's go.